Welcome to the Premipod, the podcast dedicated to sharing the powerful, inspiring, and often emotional stories of families and healthcare professionals navigating the world of premature birth.
Whether you're a parent, a healthcare worker, or just someone looking to understand the journey, we're here to offer support and insight, one episode at a time.
So tune in as we dive into real experiences and explore the strength of the neonatal community. We're your hosts, Kirsty, Dimity, and Meg.
Hello and welcome back to the Premipod. Today we have Jordana. Jordana has a daughter called Amalee, and Amalee had hydrops. So we're going to be unwrapping all about hydrops and Jordana's experience in the NICU.
Yes, very excited to be
Welcome.
here. Thank you.
No worries. Okay, so we're going to start from like the very beginning. So all about your family and your pregnancies and like which pregnancy this was for you, and then all about like your fertility journey as well.
Yeah. So Amalee is our second child. We already had a daughter, Hadley, and she was about.
They're such cute names.
Yes.
I love it.
We have a Lee theme. My husband's like, oh really?
I
It's
love
like
it.
we just have to.
Yeah.
But Hadley was about 10 months when we like conceived Amalee. So really short gap in between them, but really excited, and everything was really straightforward. Like textbook, like with Hadley, textbook. She came at 37 weeks, like naturally.
Yeah.
And she was quite big, and so they were like, oh, maybe we just got like the dates wrong or but with Amalee, like everything was fine, everything was good. We did the harmony test.
Yep.
Everything came back like low risk.
And how many weeks was this?
The
Before 20. Is it like?
Yeah, like 10 weeks,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
first
think we did it.
trimester.
Yeah. And then so that came back all like low risk, and that was the same with Hadley as well. So we were like, cool, sweet. And then it was time to have our 20-week scan.
Wow.
And we were like, okay, sweet. Like Jack and I were like,
You think you're in the safe too.
Yeah,
you know? You
yeah,
have
like
your
we're-
first scan and you're like, oh, great.
yeah. And like with Amalee, we didn't have a 13-week scan. It was just like that dating scan. And then because everything was like so low, like they were like, oh yeah, sweet, we'll see you at 20 weeks. So we got in there, and then the sonographer was like doing a thing. We're cracking jokes because me and Jack are just like,
this is
"Hell,"
like your second baby.
yeah,
you're
we're just like,
chill.
oh, she's like showing us like, you know, the things. And then I never realized, like looking back now, I could see the dark masses.
And could you like pick up any, like,
Well,
you know,
she was like,
was she giving off
Yeah.
anything was
No,
wrong?
she
That's
was-
what
she
I
was
think.
like
poker face.
she was
Yeah.
so poker face. And afterwards we were a little bit like, maybe we could have had a little bit more like less poker face, because it wouldn't have been as, but I guess she didn't want me like breaking down.
freaked out.
Because you know, like
yeah.
as soon as you hear something's wrong, you'd be like, oh my God.
And it's
Anyway.
it's like even worse when they say, "Oh, just wait here. I'm just gonna go
Yeah.
get someone else to come have a
Yes.
look," and you're like,
Oh my
Well,
God.
that we got to the end, and she's like, so I just want to go check something.
"Oh God."
And then Jack was like, no, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
And then I've just
Were you
like,
starting to freak out?
I was just sinking, like, you know, when you just have that sinking feeling, I was just like,
Oh no.
this isn't going to be good.
Yeah.
yeah.
And she's like, can you just wait in this down the end? And I was like,
my God.
Oh no.
I was like, Jack, this is
Yeah.
not good. So she's like, I've called Dr. Cecilia O'Brien. She's actually on a plane.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my God.
she's actually on a plane right now, like boarding to like go to Brisbane. She's going to Brisbane for the day.
And who is Cecilia
So
O'Brien?
Dr. Cecilia O'Brien she's one of the OBs. She also does private as well, but high risk.
Yeah.
So she specializes in high risk.
Yeah, and she does like specialized ultrasounds.
Yes,
and,
And so she's like, I've just got her on the phone. And I was like, okay. So she's like, Cecilia's like on this plane, like boarding, they're ready to take off. And she's like talking to us. She's like, we found some free like fluid in her abdomen and her chest cavity. Like her heart's in the middle. Like this is a lot of fluid. It's fluid under the skin, about a centimeter or something. And then she said, it's hydrops. She's like, I need you to come back in tomorrow morning so I can do the ultrasound, and we're going to do amniocentesis.
Yep.
I think that to send it away, to send it for more genetic paneling. And we were just like, wait, what?
Yeah, you're
Like-
like rewind. Okay.
And we were like
So did she explain like what hydrops was? Did you have any idea?
No, she gave us some. She texted me through some links.
Yeah, oh,
because
that's
she was
really
like,
good.
I have to go. Like the plane's about to take off. She's like, try not to freak out, but we Googled hydrops.
Oh,
Yeah.
How how
And it does not
chaotic
have
a
a
way
good
to find out.
prognosis.
And even the name, like Hydrops
Hydrops, like-
Fetalis, like that is
Fetalis
scary.
got us. We were like, fatal. Okay,
Yeah,
like this is
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So Google was not our friend, and then it just sent us spiral. And I was meant to go like back to work afterwards, and I was like called at work. I was like, hey,
You'll not be seeing
I
me
will not be
today.
back. Sorry. And Jack and I were just like kind of shell shocked. And then we went down the Google rabbit hole, and I was like, we should not have done that, but like that's all the information we could get for that day.
Yeah, and because of like how chaotic you found out as well.
Oh yeah, it was like literally like one moment everything's good, and then next second it was like holy shit. Like,
and it's not like you had plenty of time to ask all the questions, and you know
you don't have any questions too when you're in shock. You leave after and thinking, oh my God, I should have said this or I should have said this, but
should have asked.
Yeah. And I feel like all throughout the pregnancy, after we'd have appointments, I'd be like, I should ask this, or I should have written it down, because like kind of like
keynote for the people watching.
Like,
write notes before you go.
Like record like your conversation, because then you can like, because I'd be like, I can't remember what they said exactly. Like, so like record stuff, write it down. So the next day, first up, 8 o'clock, we're back there. And then so she's ultrasounding, and then they do the amniocentesis, and I was just like, oh, not fun. Like,
well, how was that experience for you?
What do they do?
Yeah,
well,
talk about
that was a really big needle just into my like tummy, and I
had. Can you see?
Yeah, yeah. And like I'm good with needles, so I was like, okay, like this is an interesting experience, but it needs to be done. Like,
do whatever you need to do.
And like Cecilia was amazing. Like she kept us so calm, and she was like, look, you know, these are the facts. Like it has a 60% fatality rate. Like if it's but we picked it up early. I'm going to talk to Dave. David, what's his last name? Watson. Yeah, Dr. Dave Watson. We're going to get you on the roster for high risk. Like you're probably going to have to go down to Brisbane though to see another Dave. Another Dave.
All the good doctors are called Dave.
Yeah. But she said, I'm going to talk to Dr. Watson and see what he says. But I think we'll try and, because she said sometimes we can drain the fluid out of the chest cavity and then it doesn't come back. While she's
still inside.
Yeah, while she's still inside.
Wow, crazy.
And then see if it
like reaccumulates,
see if it reaccumulates or if it just stays away. Because she's like, sometimes there've been some studies that it stays away once it's drained. So we were like, okay. So then that Friday, so this was all like at the start of the week, and then that Friday I went in for the procedure, and I was actually meant to be a bridesmaid.
So for the draining.
For the draining,
right? Okay.
Yeah. So this is all happening like so quickly.
Yeah.
And I was meant to be a bridesmaid for my best friend, and I was like, I have to be in hospital, and that she was so understanding. But it was really sad. Like
you missed out on that experience for her as well.
Like she was so understanding. She's like, you need to go do this.
Good.
Like Anyway, so we got in, and I'm really good at like just when there's like just cracking jokes, like but it's like a coping thing. Because if I spiral, then I won't be able to do it. So I just
panic.
I just like try and keep. So I was just cracking jokes, and they had this like big knitting needle like went in, and then another needle
went inside it.
That went inside it, and then they drained the fluid out, and it was like this like amber colored stuff.
Yep.
So like yellowy, reddy sort of color.
Yeah. And they had a name for it. I cannot remember it, but it was the same stuff that they sent away to South Australia for that really big like genetic paneling that takes like 6 to 8 weeks. But yeah, so they would drain it. They drained so much fluid, patched me up, and she was saying like every time we go in with a needle, like that's a risk.
Absolutely.
Of rupturing. Rupturing,
infection,
like,
all of that. Yeah.
This is twice we've had needles in like a week, and so it was just like, okay, that's cool. And we went in for a scan on Tuesday. Went to the high risk clinic, scanned, the fluid had come back. So not even like a whole week.
Yeah, a couple of days.
Yeah, it was back, and so she was like, "You're gonna have to have shunts placed in," and I was like, "What? What do you mean shunts placed in?
Were you like,
how
what's
do you
that?
do that? Like, why? What?" And I was thinking these taps like coming out of me or something. She's like, "No, they go in with like needles. They paralyze her in Europe, so she can't move.
Crazy.
And then it's like a shunt in the back of each like shoulder blade.
Yeah,
wow.
And it's like a coil thing, and the idea is it puts the fluid out into your
into you.
Yeah.
into the what is it called? Womb, uterus? I don't know.
The membranes.
Yes,
like the,
yeah.
the
So
amniotic sac.
yes, that
yeah.
thing. And that will keep doing it to hopefully keep the fluid at bay enough for her lungs to develop, for her heart to.
But she's
not be
21 weeks at this stage. Yeah.
So we're just like, okay, can you do that in utero? And they're like, yes, and we need to like do it like quite quickly. So
this is like a really big couple of weeks for you. Like, let's just slow down a bit. Let's just take a second.
I know, yeah.
So at 20 weeks,
yeah, 20 weeks
found out.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had an amnio like literally the next day.
Yeah.
Then 2 days later, you had fluid taken out of your baby.
Yeah.
And then a few days later, they're talking about doing a very high risk procedure.
Yeah.
On your baby.
On
in
your
the womb.
baby.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
and you just like,
this is all a lot.
Yeah.
Like, how were you feeling at that time? Like, who were you talking to? Who were your support people? Like,
we're lucky, like, we're really close with our family and we have a really good support circle.
Yeah.
But I just cried a lot, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I just, like, it sounds awful, but I just thought my baby was going to die.
Of
and
course.
I was like, okay, like, I'm going to fight as hard as I
Well, you
can.
only read in books and like see on the internet, oh my gosh, they did an operation on a baby in utero.
Yeah.
So you're like, is that even real life or is that
I
like,
was like,
something they can do here in this town I'm in? Like, that's crazy.
I was like, am I in Grey's Anatomy? Like, what's going on?
Do you reckon if you had of booked that 10, 13, do you think that like they would have seen that then?
If that was an option to have one, because I was going through the birth center as well, and they're fantastic, but because it's so low risk, like, and you know, we couldn't have known because nothing was showing up genetically, like, so, but they did say it might have been picked up at the 13-week scan, but then she was like,
you never know.
Yeah, like it might have started after that window too.
Yeah, so she's like, you really don't know.
Yeah.
And then she was just like, at this point, we can't dwell on that.
That's right.
We just have
You're
to,
here now. You have to deal with this.
We just have to.
There's no way out.
So, but honestly, it was just crying a lot. Like, I want to say that I was like so awesome, but no, it was just it was just crying.
Well, it's a lot to deal with.
But then also we had Hadley, so like this little, like, she was 1 by that stage, and you know she's just living her best toddler life, and so you have to kind of like
have to like put it all aside to be your all for them as well.
Yeah. So, and like I didn't want Hadley to pick up like on anything that was wrong. So
that's good.
Even though she wouldn't really understand it, she'd pick up the vibe. So
absolutely.
So we just plodded along. Like Jack was trying to be like so strong too, but you can just tell, like, you know, when you, like, I think men just get quiet and they internalize.
Yeah.
So like I think that was harder too, and he can't do anything. Like. And you can't do anything. You're just like, oh my gosh,
it's all like completely
out
of your control.
Yeah, so you're just like, I'm just gonna have to trust these doctors, because they're awesome and they know what to do, even though they're kind of going, they're kind of not making this up as we go along, but we don't have a lot of hands-on experience.
You don't
this,
see this much
here.
too.
Yeah.
So like they're probably just putting their all at you and hoping for the best.
Yeah. So it was a lot of just kind of like trial and error, and so. They told us, we're going to organise to get you down to Brisbane to get these shunts put in. So we went down on Friday. We literally, like, Jack and I got off the plane. We left like Hadley at home with her grandparents. Got off the plane, went straight to the hospital, and then had like our consultation. They did the shunts that afternoon.
Yeah, wow.
So I thought we would have to like
wait a bit.
Wait. No, he was like, I'll just have something to eat and then we'll get it done. And I was like,
just another day.
Yeah, I was like, okay. And granted, like, he's done this before and he's done this procedure, but they gave me another ultrasound right before because they wanted to check for any markers of her growing for
like a syndrome.
Yeah, like a syndrome because my harmony test was low risk and we wouldn't have the genetic paneling back like for a while. So they were like, let's do another scan, let's look for markers. Found none. She was like, it looks
because hydrops like
is usually like with
different syndromes.
And that's what Dr. O'Brien and Dr. Watson were saying. They're like, we usually see this with something else. So the fact that we're not seeing it, they're baffled as to why it happened. So we had the thing. He's like, I'll just go have a bite to eat. And then we'll get you through. And it was it was so I was just lying there, and then they had these big knitting
Again.
needles
Oh
again.
my gosh.
But
Oh
they
my
had
God.
they
You're
were
so brave.
they were explaining to us we're going to paralyze her basically. Like
Just
she's
crazy.
Are they ultrasounding at the same time?
yeah
Like, so
So there was like 6 people in there
Wow.
because there was 2 doctors and they were kind of like guiding each other. But we were really lucky that her back was facing out.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's so good.
So I was like, perfect, babe, like perfect positioning.
Stay there.
Otherwise,
Excellent.
like they said, it would have been so much harder.
Yeah.
But it's the weirdest sensation because they have to crack through ribs, like.
Oh.
So it was like
You could
pressure.
feel it?
I was like, because the numbing only went so far, and then I was like, ooh, ooh, and then I pop, and I was like, ooh, and then like they placed the little shunt in there, and then they went and did the other side, and I was like, this is the most weirdest, disgusting feeling ever. But they were showing us on the like.
Could you see like on a screen?
Yeah.
Did you get any video of it? Like, did they let you take a video
We
of
didn't
what they
even
were doing?
think to.
Yeah.
But I was like afterwards, like we should have done that. That was so cool to like. There was part of me that was like freaking out, but also part of me was like, this is like cool to watch, like because I'm like.
At the end of the day, like I think photos are not on your mind because this could be the last time you.
Yeah, because he said to us too, like before the procedure, he's like, we need to pierce this, like membranes quite a few times. Like if you start to miscarry, that we don't do any.
Yeah.
We won't save her.
Yeah. How many weeks was she?
22.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
22 weeks, and we were just like, and then Jack was like, so
goosebumps.
and then Jack was like, so what's the other option? He's just like,
there is none.
There's none.
Yeah.
And so we were just like, okay, well, we have to do it, like, because otherwise the fluid would have just kept putting pressure on her heart, and it would have just stopped.
Yeah.
So did that, and then I was in hospital overnight, and it was so weird because she wasn't moving because she was and they said we need to keep you in to monitor but also
everything.
like make sure she starts
moving again. Yeah.
And I remember just being like, please move, and about 7 o'clock that night I just felt this like boom,
and
I was
like, I'm awake now.
I was
that's
like,
amazing.
thank you, I can go to sleep now.
So
Thank you so
did
much.
they have you on like heart monitoring and everything
No.
for her? No, they were just waiting for her to start moving.
They were just, and then they came and did the like just
like
check
a Doppler?
just to check the heartbeat a few times. But she was fine. She's such a trooper. Even I needed props. Amalee, she was the hardest working one of this whole entire thing. So had the shunts. We stayed there over the weekend, and then on Sunday afternoon I went back for another ultrasound just to make sure that the shunts were working and that they stayed in place. And we found one shunt, and they said sometimes they can migrate and sometimes the babies actually pull them out if they find them. And we couldn't.
So rude.
I know, right? But we couldn't find the other one exactly. But the fluid was draining. Yeah. So they were like, it's fine. Sometimes it just works with one. Yeah. We'll find the other one sometime.
Yeah.
And then it was weekly ultrasounds.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep, up at the hospital.
At least that's like good for you.
It was great peace of mind. I did hate going up to the hospital every week. I was just like,
of course.
And then I did my glucose test, and then I found out I had gestational diabetes as well.
Another thing.
And it was my fasting sugars that were always over, so then I had to go on insulin. And I was just like,
all these needles as
pregnancy. And like I felt pretty good with Hadley's pregnancy, but I was just feeling like emotionally drained, physically drained. I was just like, oh my gosh, like I love you, but this is a lot.
A lot, yeah.
And so it was literally, just going up every week to the high-risk clinic and doing monitoring there, and then every second week as well going on Friday up top to the other ultrasound place for Dr. O'Brien to do another ultrasound too. Yeah. And there was a few times where I had to be in hospital like over the weekend or just because like for monitoring.
Yeah.
And then we were getting there, but they said to us, she's going to be in NICU. We don't know how long she's going to be in NICU. We need to keep her in for as long as we can, but she's not going to go past 34, 35 weeks.
How many weeks were you here? About
34.
34, wow.
Yeah.
34 on the day.
Yeah. And up until this point on the scans, had they found any other like heart defects or renal, like anything with her
No,
kidneys?
everything was working perfectly.
Everything else was fine.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay.
And then, and then I started to see what they were looking at, and it was just this dark mass in her stomach, like,
Just
and
like a
then
lot of fluid.
Yeah, fluid, and then
Yeah.
in her and then like you can see on her skin, like there was, that little bit of edema,
Yep.
but it was okay. It was staying. It wasn't getting super better, but it was getting enough that she's growing. We were plodding along.
And then what was the fluid like in the amniotic sac for you?
So
Was
I
it
got
polyhydramnios?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it was like rock. I was just like, I just feel so full.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and like I just remember Dr. Watson always feeling my belly, just going like, "That's a hard belly."
Yeah.
And I was like,
You're telling me.
It always felt like it was like about to pop. Like,
Yeah.
and I was just like, it was just rock hard all the time.
Oh.
So that was fun. And then we got the genetic paneling back.
Nothing.
So we were
So no answers.
so no one could find out.
No nothing.
So when that, like, they were calling it congenial chylothorax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something just went wrong with the lymphatic system.
Right.
Just did not want to play, apparently. So
Just a spontaneous.
yeah,
like,
they just said when it was getting
diversion.
put together, it looks like just it did not do what it was meant to. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, it's good that there was nothing else
Yes. Yeah.
like playing against us, but also just like,
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
because they were just like,
Yeah.
we don't know why this happened, and we
Yep.
don't know if it can happen again. Because I was like, if we have another child, like, will it happen?
Yeah.
And they were like, it shouldn't,
Mm.
but we don't know.
Yeah.
So you're just like, okay, cool. And yeah, it was just a lot of just like, like, I'm not a super religious person, but just like praying, like
Yeah.
every week
Mm.
when you went to the scan, just be like, please just be okay, or
Okay.
decrease. Like,
Yeah.
don't be increased. Like, please just
Yeah.
be okay.
Just so we can get through like
Yeah.
another week.
Yeah, like
and-
another
yeah.
week of cooking, and then like seeing her heartbeat every week. It was strong. It was okay. So it was kind of, and like I got to know the doctors pretty well, and they were a godsend.
Yeah.
They just kept us so informed, but so calm. Like, they were realistic, like they were like, anything can happen, but it's good.
Yeah.
Like, it's looking good.
Yeah.
We're doing everything we're meant to, and she's responding well. So then you kind of go, okay, like,
Yeah.
we have hope. Like, this is good. This is
Yeah.
good. And then they started to talk to me about NICU
Mm-hmm.
and saying, so this is what to expect during the delivery. Because Dr. O'Brien was saying to me, because I'd had a vaginal birth with Hadley, she's like, we want you to we don't want to do a C-section,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that can cause damage, like, for you, and we want you to be able to like have it, like,
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And she's like, if she's fine, you can we will drain her belly the day before, because they were like, we'll induce you.
Yeah.
We'll drain her belly before, so it's like
Smaller,
not as
yeah.
big, because it was measuring ridiculous.
Yeah.
It
Your
was-
belly.
No,
Her belly.
Oh,
So
both.
it was my belly, her belly. It was throwing out all the readings.
Mm.
So she was like measuring like 30 something when she was like 20. Like,
Wow. Yeah.
she was just a little massive belly. And when she came out, a little frog.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like
God.
but yeah, so they wanted us to do it that way.
Yeah.
And so we were like, sweet, like, that's what I wanted too. And then it got to 2 weeks. So I was 32 weeks, and I was like, I'm not feeling good. And then I had a scan with Cecilia, and she said the fluid's starting to reaccumulate, like, a bit more. She's like, you need to stay in hospital.
Yeah.
Because I went to my scan and I was like, oh, like, it should be okay. And then I was like, I have to stay in hospital.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed in hospital for like the 2 weeks. So it was just like every day, just like monitoring a lot of the CTG machine,
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
a lot of that, just a lot of ultrasounds.
Mm-hmm.
And like she kind of like stabilized, like,
Yeah.
but they were just like, we're just going to monitor you. They were giving me steroids
Yeah.
for her lungs. They were like, we're just going to keep her in until it increases again, and then that's when we're gonna. And then we got to the day before 34 weeks. We did another scan. It was like, it's getting a little bit bigger again. So
Yep.
we did another
Another needle.
my
Another needle.
gosh.
And then so they drained 175 mils out of her tummy.
Oh
That's
my
And it was still
gosh.
really big, but that was,
Wow.
and I remember one of the student doctors got to do it because he was like watching, and so he was like, "Do you mind if he does it?" I was like, "Well, no."
You're like, at this stage, I've had
Yeah,
so many.
at this stage,
Go for
like
it.
Everyone have a crack.
So many student doctors were like, "Can we like watch this?" And I was like, "Have a crack at it."
And
At this
like,
stage, like
that's amazing for you to say that. You know, like that
Yes.
they'll never probably get to do that ever again in their lives.
That was
so.
my mentality. I think Jack was probably a little bit more hesitant because he was like, "I want the best of the best," but I was just kind of like, we need to they need to learn, because if someone else comes in here and they go, "I've seen this before, I can do this," like.
And also, you had the others there too.
Yeah. Like I knew nothing would like.
Yeah. And Cecilia would have like a lot of trust in them to be able to like.
Yeah,
let them
exactly.
do that stuff.
So
yeah.
And he did a great job. I was like, "You smashed it." He's like,
Yeah.
and I was like, and then they were like, "We'll see you tomorrow morning for your induction." And I was like, "Sweet." And so I went back to my room and I was in the shower. So I was like, I feel a bit crampy. I feel a bit off. And Sissy was like knocking on the door. She like looked at me and she's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, just, big day." She's like, "Okay, I'll see you tomorrow." Because she came and checked on me again. And then during the rounds that night at like 12 o'clock that night, like I like shifted in the bed for the nurse to do it, and then
just pop.
I've never seen so much water come out of my body before. And it was like dripping off the bed. I was like, "I think my water's broke." And she's just like, I think so too.
I'm going to say yes.
She's like, "Yeah, I think so." And I was like, "Okay." And she put me up to the monitor.
How weird is that? Like you were going to do it the next day.
Yeah. And then I think it was that last needle, honestly. Like my body was like, the dam is broken.
Yeah.
So, and I forgot to mention, I already, in those 2 weeks too, I had a bit of leaking as well. So they think I had like a up
like
top.
a hind leak.
Yeah. So, but they were like, "You have so much fluid in there. Like it's."
Yeah, it'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
So did they have you on like antibiotics and stuff?
Yes, towards the end of it, like with the steroids. Sorry, that was like a big thing. I was like, "Wait, I remember that happened." But there was honestly. So she cleaned up, this poor nurse, like cleaning up the bed. I'm
it's
like,
probably like 3
It's like 12 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh my god."
And I was like, "I'm so sorry." And like Jack, Jack was at home, but he's like, I literally went to bed at like 11 o'clock and I called him and I was like, "Hey, my waters are broken." And he was just like, "Oh." I was like, don't rush up here, but like, just so you know. So he came back up at 1. Don't rush, but if you could get up here, it'd
when
be
it's
great.
convenient for you, come on up.
And then so he got there at like 1 and I was like wheeled to birth suite because I was having contractions and I had been having them all afternoon, just like not really
realizing you
because I was just like, I just feel uncomfortable.
Because
it was so different from Hadley.
Yeah,
like Hadley, it was like a little gush of waters and then just like contraction. Like it was so like straightforward. With Amalee's, I was like second guessing myself the whole time. I was like, I don't know what I'm feeling is because of that or because something's happening. But it was good because I was like, well, we were going to get started today anyway. That's what they said. They were like, "Well, you were booked in at 6 a.m. anyway. We just
beat us to it
early."
And so, they were monitoring me and I got to about 5 centimeters before they were like, "Okay, we kind of want her to come quickly." And I hadn't had a long labor with Hadley, but they were like, "We want her to kind of come quickly." So they got me on the Pitocin, which that Pitocin is good, but it's also like, ouch.
Because with Hadley, you didn't have any intervention?
No, and she happened so quickly. Like I didn't have like didn't need any. Whereas with Amalee, just because they wanted her to come out fast, they were like, "We need to. She can't be kind of."
You don't want to cause any more stress to her.
Yeah. So so that's why, and then that kicked things into gear, and it really didn't. She came out at like 12 something, like 12 at lunchtime. Yeah. But they were saying to me, there's going to be a lot of activity when she's about to come out because like the
NICU team will come.
the NICU team are going to come. And they're going to be working on her. We're going to be working on you. It's going to be a flurry of activity. They're like, and I'd been warned throughout I'd had a tour of the NICU and they were kind of like, "Look, this is just what's going to happen. It's just going to be a lot of activity." And I was like, okay. Anyway, I was elsewhere as you are when giving birth. And then I remember because Jack recorded the whole birth. Yeah. And I remember like she was coming out quite quickly and then they're like pressing the thing for the NICU team.
Yeah.
And Jack's like, she's out and they're not here yet because she just came out so quickly.
quick.
And so my beautiful midwife, she found the shunts. They just fell out.
Oh.
And she's like, I found the other one we couldn't find. It was just stuck to the back of her.
Do you still
I was
have
like,
them?
Yeah, in a little container. She's like, because we couldn't find it in any ultrasound. It was so funny. They're like, we don't know where the shunt has gone.
Wow.
But it was
But
just
it was
stuck.
there.
Yeah, under all the vernix. And so she came out and the NICU team wasn't quite there yet. But all of a sudden they were in and then she was on.
What, did she cry? What was she doing?
No, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah. What'd she look like?
I didn't even see her.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because I think my midwife was just kind of like holding it, waiting for the team to come, and Jack cut the cord and she got put over to the side. I just remember saying, like, after the gas had worn off, I was like, Jack, is she alive?
Yeah.
Is she alive?
Yeah.
Jack was like, she's okay. She's okay. They're working on her. Like, but I was starting to just panic because I was like, I don't hear my baby.
You don't hear her cry.
And that was
nothing.
like through the whole thing, even like I was like cracking jokes. I was trying, but like I didn't hear my baby.
It's like your coping mechanism.
So I was just like, my baby's not with me and I can't hear her.
Yeah.
And then she was gone, like to NICU.
Yeah.
And like it had to happen that way. But it was also just like
scary because you have no idea what's going on.
I just kept saying to them, is she alive? She's alive. And Jack and I was like, she's alive. She's okay. She's in the best hands.
Yeah.
And even the doctors, she was so kind. She took a photo of Amalee before they put all the things on her. And then she came back.
You'll have to show us the picture.
Yeah. She came back and to show Jack and was like, I don't usually do this, but like I'll airdrop these to you.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I wanted you to see it before all the tubes.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, that's beautiful.
so it took probably it was like 4 o'clock by the time they'd finished with me.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went back to the maternity ward and then they were like, okay, you can come see her now. And I remember like going in and like just seeing all these tubes and she had a breathing tube.
Yeah. So she was ventilated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
crazy, hey?
yeah. Like
and she didn't have that in the birth suite when you were there.
No.
She was breathing somewhat on her own.
Well, I think from what I could see on the video, I could see them on thank you. I could
like
see
breathing
them
like this with a little mask.
with a mask, yeah. But like there was so many tubes.
Yeah.
And like you just
and nothing prepares you for that. Like
No,
that's
and
your
she was
baby.
so little.
Yeah.
And we were just like, oh my God. And I wasn't crying. I wasn't like
You were shocked.
Yeah. And then Jack was like, I need to go back to the room. And he was like a mess.
Sad.
Yeah, it was a lot for him.
Yeah.
And you know, he's held it in all this time for you, and now I guess seeing your little baby in a bed.
Yeah, and like that's the
So
first time
helpless.
we're like seeing her properly.
Yeah.
Oh, like, and they're like, she's sedated because she's like on more just to keep her comfortable. They put a chest drain in. She was ventilated, and then she had all these like lines going in.
What'd she look like in the bed when you looked at her the first time?
Swollen.
Yeah.
She looked big, like a normal baby size, and they said like she was almost the weight of Hadley.
Yeah. So how much was that?
3 kilos something, but it was all fluid.
3 kilos at 34 weeks.
Yeah.
That's really big.
And that was like, and that's fluid.
Yeah.
And they said like, and I was like, she'd just been drained. Like, you know, they're like, she has so much fluid.
Yeah.
And so they had the chest drain in that was like, you know, draining everything. And I just remember going back to my room that night, like, and, you know, I just given birth, but I was just like, I think I just cried most of the night too.
Yeah.
And it was so sweet. One of the registers that were working on her, like, came in and saw me before he went home.
Oh, that's
and
so
he just
nice.
sat with me.
So
And I was just like,
nice.
you didn't have to do that, but it was so lovely.
Yeah.
And he was explaining to me, because like they explained to me when I was in there, like what happened. And the nurse was wonderful, and anything she was doing, she was telling me, but it was not computing.
Yeah.
I was just like staring at this baby, and it didn't even like, I knew she was mine, but it didn't feel like my baby.
Yeah.
I was like, this is just like a really sick
And
Yeah.
I
Sick
think
kid.
it's hard because you don't get that initial connection at birth. You didn't get that skin to skin straight away.
Yeah,
You
like-
barely even really got to see her before she had to be whisked away.
Yeah, and it was very much like, and like she had so much going on. I was scared to even like
Touch her.
I was
Yeah.
just like so hardly. Yeah, I just sat in my wheelchair and I was just like looking at her, and then went back and then cried. Jack went home because he had to go get Hadley. Well, Hadley's just had the best day with Nana and Granddad, and
living
just,
her life,
yeah,
whereas
and
you guys are.
Yeah, but it was just such a shock seeing a baby
Yeah.
like hooked up like someone in the ICU, like which I mean that's what NICU is, but like it's meant to
When
be
they're
like,
that little, right?
Yeah,
like you
like-
think ICU, you think adults, you don't think
yeah,
babies.
and like
yeah.
like ventilated, a chest tube. I'm like,
Yeah.
that tube was so little, like everything
Yeah.
was just so tiny, and she was so like swollen.
Yeah. What were they saying? Were they saying she was very unwell, or were they saying she's doing better than what we expected?
It was very much like we don't know how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
And like, and I know that they couldn't tell me like your baby's gonna be fine, like because they had no idea.
yeah.
They just said like she's sick, and we're doing everything we can. She's stable, but we just have to take it day by day.
Yeah. What was your gut feeling? You know, when you go in and you look at your baby, like what was your gut feeling? Did you think she's gonna survive this, or were you like on the edge?
If I'm honest,
Yeah.
I like when I saw her, I was like, my baby's really sick, like,
Yeah.
and I was like, I really hope she makes it, but because no one was saying like she's going to, I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. You like needed some hope to like hold
Yeah.
on to.
but I realized, and it would be really hard for like NICU nurses and doctors to give people hope because anything could happen.
Yeah.
That's right.
Like
Yeah.
a perfectly healthy child can get sick and turn like that. So like one that's already in the NICU or special care, like, you're trying to give peace of mind to parents, but
Yeah.
you can't. Like
Yeah. Like all you can kind of say is like she's stable
Yep.
right now.
and like give you the
Yeah.
facts, which they were doing, but I just couldn't comprehend them in that. But it was really good when the register he came, sat with me for like 30 minutes
Yeah.
before like he'd finished
That's
his
so good.
shift. Like he
That's so
could
And you know
have
that
gone home.
that would have made you feel like so much
It
better.
was because I was just in the dark, like crying, like
Yeah.
just having a little pity party, and
Yeah.
he just like walked in. He's like, "Can I sit with you for a bit?" I was like,
Oh, that's nice.
"Yeah," and then he just explained to me like which each line was for, like why she was ventilated, like, and I could comprehend it, and I was like, okay, thank you, like, and I went to
Yeah.
bed not crying, and then I woke up and I was like, okay, so I went
Okay.
to the
You can do this. You
Yeah.
know, you have
Let's
to
do
do
it.
this.
and
Yeah.
because one of the treatments is they have to be on this special formula. Like she was
Yeah.
on TPN,
Yeah.
but then they have to have this special formula. It stinks. I
Yeah.
don't know if you ever like when you were preparing. It's,
No, I can't. I remember her having a different formula, but I
Yeah.
can't remember
it's
exactly
like, yeah,
how it was.
it's like called Monogen, and it
Mhm.
stinks so bad, and it's so thick.
Yeah.
And so she couldn't have like because it needed to not go through the lymphatic system. So it had time to like heal and close up. So she was on that. So she was on that for a while, and then they tried a week of breast, like my pumping, but then she started getting again. So
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just not gonna pump. We'll
Yeah.
just stick with formula. But she was on that ventilator for like a week. I want to say week and a bit.
Yeah.
Then she went to CPAP, and the chest drain came out.
Yeah.
Like sweet.
So like these are all like steps forward, like
Yeah,
you're
yeah,
feeling
so,
like
like,
she's
oh,
getting
yeah.
better.
And it was
Yeah.
so surreal. Like walk out of so I got discharged the next day, and I went home, and I was like, I don't have my baby. And they like they were telling me about the care times, and I was just like, baby's not at home. And I was like sitting there with Hadley, and I was like, I've just given birth to a child, but she's not here.
Yeah.
And Hadley was kind of like
Why you sad, mama?
yeah, or like, where's the baby? And I was
Yeah.
like, she's up in the hospital, like,
Yeah.
so that was like really surreal. And then trying to coordinate getting up to the hospital with Hadley and other people having to work. And so that was a bit of a juggle. But we were getting there, and then I tried to be there for like most of the cares. And then she came off the ventilator and off the chest drain, which was great news. Like they were like, we're not really draining anything out anymore.
Yep.
Like, and she's stronger.
Yep.
Let's see, like put her on CPAP because her lungs were just little because they just had not had enough to develop and not enough room to develop.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, she was on CPAP. And I remember I asked you, I was like, hey, when do you think I can hold her? And Timmy was like,
Today.
she was like, have you not?
Now.
Right now.
She was like, have you not held her? And I was like, no, I haven't even thought to ask. I didn't know I could. And she's like, all right, get in that chair. And then she like strapped her all onto me. And that was like the first time I got to like touch her. And I got photos from that. And I'm just like, with this
peeking.
I was like with this little baby with her tubes. And, and she was deflating day by day too.
Yeah.
And I remember the doctor saying like, this is the first time baby's losing weight is like a good thing for us. Like she's slowly processing.
Do you remember what her smallest weight was? It's okay if you don't.
I want to say when we got out of the hospital, she was 2 point something.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
I do remember. I remember her belly, and her belly was always big like a frog, but it was like soft, like it's deflated, you know, and the skin was sort of like
it was like so squishy and like you could just like and it was so like her belly, like because they didn't drain it from the belly.
We'll have to show everyone the photos.
It wasn't deflating. They didn't put the tube in for her belly because they said she would naturally just process that.
Yeah.
They wanted to make sure they got it out of her chest. And then it stayed away.
Yeah.
It stayed away and we were like, thank the Lord. Like, and so she was on CPAP for a bit and then high flow. And then she got off high flow and she went to special care. But she was only in special care for a day or two.
You missed us.
Really?
Yeah, she was like, I don't like it here. But she had like the perfect corner room with a good view. Yeah. But no, she decided, no, I want to dip back down again. So I got a call that night saying, hey, look, like she's gone. We've had to put her back in the NICU.
Yeah.
And I just cried because I was like,
massive step backwards.
Yeah, I was like, no, like we were doing so well. And that was like week 3.
Yeah.
And so
how amazing is that though? Like 3 weeks and you're in special care.
It was amazing. And they were saying like, look, we don't know how long she's going to be in here. Like it could be just a couple of weeks. It could be like, you know, months. So but they were like, maybe we pushed it a little bit too quickly. Like, so she had a little bit of like from an x-ray fluid accumulating. And they were like, oh, we'll have to see like if you have to put another chest tube back in there, but I think she got sick, like had like a cold or something, and that's what it was. Because one of the doctors, apparently they had a bit of an argument about it with all of the doctors together, and this one doctor was like, I think it's this, so I'm going to treat it for this, and if I'm wrong, they can to me about it. I was like, okay, you seem confident, go for it. Like,
I guess too, you've been through the worst. So
I was like, what are you gonna do that is really gonna and she treated her for what she thought it was, which was like just like a viral,
a rhinovirus.
Something because it was winter. So
and you had a 1-year-old too.
Yeah, I was like, I could have passed something on like even though I wasn't really like
and so, like, you know, daycare bugs or just people are sick,
like,
right?
I you know, you do and we were wearing masks because it was like big COVID at that time too. So but anyway, she responded to whatever they would do, and so she was like, I was right. I was just laughing, and it was really one thing that like I will forever cherish about the NICU stay was like coming in every day and like the nurses recognize you and treating you not like you have a sick child. Like that makes sense. Like they just treat you normally. And then I
think too, because you've been there for 3 weeks, you know.
Yeah,
you're a part of the furniture now. You're like you're like a NICU nurse now. You can do it all.
Pretty much. Yeah, and it was so nice like to be able to come in and not feel like, oh, I've got a sick kid, but also they're like, you know,
they want to talk to you.
Yeah, they were just coming and chatting to me and like making me feel, and like we were having a laugh and it was really good. And like, because there would be moments where like because we were in down the end, like one of these big rooms, and like every day it felt like there would be someone new in the room, and then they go, okay, we're going to special, and I'd be like,
when's it my turn?
Yeah, I was like, oh, nice of you guys to just leave, thank you. And I made friends with like some of the parents, but like everyone would be like, the next day I'd get there and it'd be like gone. I'd be like, who's this baby? Like,
You're like, I'm still here,
yeah.
damn it.
And so you have like a little bit of like jealousy too.
Yeah.
And like, I was so happy for their family, like that, but also too just like,
of course,
this sucks. Like, why is it my baby?
Yeah.
And
I don't think people talk about that enough. I think that's actually a really big part of the NICU journey.
Yeah,
is seeing your neighbours and other babies who might be similar gestation to yours.
Or smaller, you know.
Or
when they're
smaller,
smaller,
yeah.
you're like,
why?
well, I've got this big baby here and I'm still here. And you've got this 1 kilo baby and you're going to special care.
Yeah, like, and there is that jealousy.
Yeah,
and like, it's not a competition, but you also kind of are a little bit like,
you know that they're closer to going home. And like, that's what everybody wants.
And
right?
it's like this, like, I'm so happy for you, but also just like, when is it my turn? Like, when do I not to get to come up here?
Yeah.
Because I love seeing the nurses, but
I'm getting sick of you guys.
I don't want to come up here ever again. Like,
Yeah.
And so we just kept plodding along, and she basically just stayed on high flow for a really long time, just strengthening.
Yeah.
The physio came and spoke to us because she was ventilated for a while. They said that we have to look out for cerebral palsy like signs because she's at higher risk. Because there was this one incident, or it wasn't really an incident, but when she was ventilated, they were changing her tape.
Yeah.
And they said, we're just going to change the tape. Sometimes the babies, they play up a little bit. So and I was like, okay. So I was standing by her feet, and then of course she knocked the tube like down. So it was going into, and so she just started turning blue.
Oh no.
And then the alarm codes were going off and everything. And this was the first time anything like that had happened. And I was just like,
wow,
my baby's blue and everyone's calm, but also panicking. And you press the button and there's alarms blaring and a lot of people coming into the room. And I just, no one said any like thing to like get out, but I just like went out and sat in the waiting room.
And I think you've been here for a while too, and you don't ever really hear that alarm bell.
No.
So hearing that alarm bell, you're probably like, what?
Yeah, I was, and then
what is this?
Because at first I was just like, is that? Then all systems started blaring, and I kind of just like shut down, and I just walked into the waiting room. And I just remember sitting there just like this, and then the doctor came in and was like, "Are you okay?" I was like,
no, was she okay?
I was like, no. And she's like, it's okay. The tube just like went in
a bit too far.
A little bit too far.
One side.
Yeah. And, you know, we just had to get it back, but we just get all hands on deck when that happened. And I was just like, okay. She was just like, oh, they're there. And I was just like, that was really scary.
Yeah.
Like, alarm bells are scary. And like, everyone was focused on her, which was totally fine. But like, I was just like, I don't.
In the corner of the room, you're like,
I was like, I don't know what's going on. So I just like removed myself from the situation because I was like, I'm not helping here. I'm just gonna go sit.
And I think sometimes the NICU team doesn't overly talk too much either because we just kind of do things.
Yeah, everyone was just like knew what to do. And so no one had to speak out loud, but I was just like...
And that doesn't help you because you're like, I don't know what's going on.
I was like, my baby was blue and all these alarms were going off and I was like, okay. And that was probably the only really scary moment besides like seeing her like that first week. But like seeing that happen, that was the only time that she'd ever really like got everyone in the room. And I was just like, ooh. I was like, I could not imagine like that being your child and like the situation not being okay afterwards. If that makes sense. Like that. And
like it was a quick fix to get her back to being
And when I walked back in, she had new tape on. She was fine.
She's like,
and
I didn't do anything.
Open.
Yeah, and one of the NICU nurses, she's like an older one, so she was well seasoned. She was just like, naughty baby, naughty Amalee, scaring mummy like that. And I was just like, yeah. But then like also like being in the NICU, like you kind of become a fly on the wall. Yeah, like you can't help but like look around and see what's like. It's just just natural, especially when you know, your baby's sleeping, you can't pick them up, so just and you know when something sad has happened. You know when good so it was really it's an emotional place to be. Like I don't know how you guys like you guys are a godsend being in there every day. Like it's an emotional place to be.
Yeah, and you can really feel, I think, like the vibe of the unit when you walk in.
Yeah, like you know if it's been a good shift, or you know like there's been like
a bit somber.
Yeah, because there were a few days there where they were very somber, and babies that were there the day before weren't there,
Next
and
day.
you know
And
that
you
they
know,
didn't
yeah.
get to go to special care, and then
Yeah.
your heart breaks for those families,
Yeah.
and like even though you don't know them, like
Yeah.
you got grief for them because
Yeah.
it's
They
like
say
you're-
like when one mum cries, like every mum cries.
yeah, because it's
Yeah.
just like you just have that empathy for any other person that's going like
Yeah.
family that's going through it, like
Yeah.
and you just like
Yeah, it's that joint community, right? Like you just like you're all NICU mums,
Yeah.
like you just know what they're going through, or like the fear of you going
Yeah.
through that as well.
and
Yeah.
it's scary.
Yeah.
Like it would be so scary, especially if you didn't like. We're so lucky we had so much family support, and I could go home every day, update
Yeah.
everyone. But like,
And like we were saying earlier as well, you had your scans and you were very informed and you got treatment early,
yeah, but
which
like
changed the whole
everything.
course of
Yeah.
Amelie's treatment. And
Yeah.
you know, if you didn't have this treatment and if you didn't go in for your scans,
yeah,
Emily might not be here today.
but they said
Absolutely.
100% she wouldn't have. She would have
Because
died.
you know what, if you didn't have scans or you weren't in an area where
That
they could pick
could-
up on this stuff, she would have been born and she would have not had the help she needed. You know,
Yeah.
people would be like, oh my God, I have no idea what's going on.
Yep.
And that's time taken away from treating her. So
Yeah,
like, that's
and
so good that
it's
you went to
amazing.
all those appointments and you
Yeah.
put in the hard work before
Mm.
because it's really made a
It
difference.
was amazing that we had that available.
Yeah, that's
like, because
right.
I know there are some people that are in places where they don't have, or they have to travel hours just
Yeah.
for an appointment.
Well,
with a
I
doctor.
actually have seen on the internet and on social media, Cecilia O'Brien, she travels like rural and
Rural.
remote, and she helps parents like you in rural and remote areas that
she's a
need help.
godsend,
I
honestly.
know,
She's
isn't she amazing? Yeah.
She's such an amazing person, and she's such a an advocate for like women's healthcare.
Yeah.
Like even not just for women's healthcare, like just she is a literal angel.
Yeah.
Like
And you know how you were saying like you were cracking jokes and everything, probably because you knew you were in the best hands. Like,
yeah,
you know,
like yeah.
it would have been completely different if you had doubt in the doctors or the
If these
whoever was
doctors were like,
treating.
we don't know, like
Yeah.
anything that Cecilia, like she was like, I'm not 100% sure, but this is the case studies that
Yeah.
I've read. This is like what I've seen. Like she
Yeah.
gave me all the information that she had at all times, and that was just such an amazing thing to be able to get,
Yeah.
because like also to like other like people who they didn't know that their birth was going to end in a NICU stay, or you know,
Yeah.
having a
Yeah.
NICU experience, having a sick baby. You go in to have your baby, and then all of a sudden, like,
Yeah.
so I think I was lucky in that aspect. Like, I knew
Like you were very prepared.
I was very prepared, like, and I knew that it was going to end up there. But a lot of people who do end up in there
Yeah.
don't know
It's a shock.
beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
she had that pre-warning.
yeah,
Like,
which mentally made it easier.
yeah.
But like also having your baby have something that no one else really, and like no one else in the NICU had it.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
you just like, I can't even like talk to like other
Yeah.
like the
and-
other parents that I was talking to, they had like twins that were early, or a
Mhm.
baby that was just like
Yeah.
early,
Mm-hmm.
and you just like, and they're like, what are you? And you're like, well,
And you say,
Long story.
long
Hydrops.
story, but and they're like, what's
What?
that? And you're just like, oh well, this is my understanding.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, so she finally, so she was on the high flow, and she was getting X-rays every day, like to make sure
like
she was
that fluid
yeah.
wasn't building up again.
and so she was growing, but also deflating.
Shrinking.
yeah.
So she just looked like a little old woman sometimes with her like little saggy skin,
Yeah.
but she was like, you looked at her, she looked so like strong, like, and I was like, it was probably when she got.
And she was a good girl too. She drank her bottles like
Yeah,
a
she was a
trooper.
good
You know,
baby.
she loved
She-
her food.
She did not want to cause any dramas.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
was very good for the.
She's like, I've had my show.
Yeah.
I'm ready
Yeah.
to be good.
She's like, I want to be the good baby. So she hardly ever had to be like held, I think,
Mhm.
overnight and stuff as well. So I was like, good girl. Like,
Yeah.
different story as a toddler. But yeah, so we were just plodding along like on high flow. It was just in this like
Mhm.
kind of limbo. Like
For how many weeks?
she got this 6 weeks she was in there for.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Probably about like week 4, that's when they were like, okay, well, she's come back to NICU, but we're just gonna keep her in here. She's
Yeah.
doing well. Like
Mhm.
the infection's gone.
Yeah.
Like her stats are staying good. Like they didn't really. They just kept lowering the high flow, like till
slowly.
Basically, it was like
Just like a whiff.
Yeah, just a whiff.
Yeah.
So she was doing that. She was doing good, and then one day they just came in the morning. I was like prepared for another few weeks. So like, let's just try her off it now. Like, I was like, okay, cool. So they took it off her, and then she spent the day like that. And they're like, she's good. You can take her home tomorrow. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Oh my
I
god.
was like, excuse me? And they're like, yeah, you can take her home.
Because like everything else was going good. Like
Yeah.
And you were still in NICU, you know, you thought you still had to go to
Exactly.
special care.
I thought
and
we had
then-
to,
yeah.
special care then. And then they were just like, yeah, no, she's doing good. Like,
Yeah.
and that was it would have been the day after her due date.
Wow.
And so I was like, okay. And we didn't tell like anyone
Oh,
that she's
that's
coming
so
home.
you kept a
So
surprise.
Dimity packed us all up.
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
I actually have a like fond memory of that day in general.
It was so good. Like we
Yeah.
were so excited, but then we had to like install the car seat. We had to get everything.
You just like weren't
prepared.
ready for that.
I was like, oh god, okay, we have to actually get stuff ready because like, even though she was doing so well, I hadn't let myself like get excited and prepare for her to come home, if that makes sense. Like I didn't jinx it, so I was like, I'm not gonna do it. Like
completely get it. Nurses are so superstitious.
I was
we
like,
completely get it.
yeah, I was like, I'm not doing it until, and so we did that, and then we brought her home, and it was amazing. But I was so scared. We were so scared. So I was
No
like,
monitors, no beeping.
I was like, how do I know?
She's
we went,
okay.
we went out and bought one of those bloody owl monitor things because I was like,
I'm pretty sure almost every mum that's been in NICU
Yeah.
or special
has
care
got one of
goes
the-
and gets an
Yeah.
owlet.
I was like Googling, and like that's a lot of the mums have been saying, like,
Yeah.
just for peace of mind.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it really like
Oh my
works,
god, like
but
that is my one non-negotiable. Like
yeah.
my daughter is 2 now, and she'll say to me, I say, go get your sock. Like
Go
we need
get
to put
your
your
sock, yeah.
And she says, sock. And then every morning she takes her little foot off and she says, sock.
I love
I'm
that.
like, it's so good.
Yeah, I think they stopped wearing like about, I want to say 10 months. I got comfortable.
Yeah,
enough
that's
to
so
be,
good.
Like take it
Yeah.
off. I was like, okay, you seem to be okay. But
Yeah.
I don't think I slept that night.
Yeah.
Honestly, when we brought her home, I was just like,
watching her.
I was watching the phone.
you
I was watching
breathing?
her, and I was just like, I was watching her sats all night,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
were fine. But I
She's
was
like
just,
your little sim baby, you know, like
I was like,
checking the sats.
yeah, I had to, make sure that, and I was just like, oh my gosh, she's home, but like, it was like having a newborn, but she was 6 weeks old.
And she knew what to do. She knew
Yeah,
she had to
but
wake
like-
up every 4 hours,
Yeah.
5 hours.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
still
She's
on that.
NICU trained.
She was on that on the special cares like
Yeah.
schedule.
yeah, but it was so surreal because like even though she was 6 weeks old, I was like, this is like a newborn,
Yeah.
and that's what they like the adjusted age and everything like that, and so it was good. She was good. She was small. She'd gone little
With the
and
big
petite, big belly, but small. And then so they referred us to
Child health.
yeah. So for like the physio
Yeah.
and all that. And so we saw them every couple of months. Like she took longer to do everything. So longer to, lift up.
Yeah.
Because she didn't get a lot of tummy, active tummy time in NICU. So she was.
You were just sort of she's survived the NICU journey. So
Yeah.
now it's your turn to like make her be a baby.
Yeah. And she had to build up her. She had like low muscle tone on like everything. And so she had a lot of, like you think like when you come home from the NICU, like it's
Done.
Like
Yeah.
we did the hardest part, but like honestly, like it's all the stuff after, like the physio appointments, and going like, oh, is she gonna walk? Because that was a concern because they were like, we don't know if that's affected.
And it was mainly because of her muscle tone that they were worried about that. Yeah.
But she a little fighter, and she, even though she was a little bit late on things, she did it in her own time.
She'd be watching Hadley everywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's got to get up.
She's our bum shuffler of the trio as well. Which was the bum shuffle was hilarious. Just boop, boop, all around the
Instead of
house.
crawling, would she just like shuffle around?
She didn't. Yeah, she was not. I think she crawled for about 2 days, and then she went to walking.
Yeah, wow, that's so good.
But it bum shuffling everywhere. It was so funny. All her onesies were like stained on the bottom because of,
She's
like,
cleaning your floor for you.
cleaning the floor. But like we were seeing child health, but I was like, I think she needs more. So I took her to private physio, and I could have gone and got that all like, but it was a lot of paperwork and it's hard.
Yeah.
And you had to get doctors, and I was like, oh, I'm lucky enough I can be able to afford to pay for this, but families that can't, like, that's hard.
Yeah.
Like, because the child health, amazing, but you don't get to see them a lot, like, unless you're really quiet.
And you would have been on top of it. You know, you've had one baby before. You know how it should be. So you're like comparing the two, even though you shouldn't.
Yeah, but you do, because you're just like, right. I have like a gut, like, you know, a stable point. Hadley was here, but each child is like their own person too. Right. But I was like, I need to help. I think I was like, just get on top of it now until we wait until you're like 1, 2, and then they go, oh, she needs more help.
Yeah.
So were you doing like weekly appointments?
Yeah, we went to physio every week.
So you switched out your antenatal weekly appointments.
Yeah, it's for physio. And our physio was fantastic, and she was so fun, and Amalee loved going, and which was great. And so she was starting to hit all her milestones and follow-up appointments. We found out that she did have a slight heart murmur, but that went away within a couple of months. So the cardiology team was like, okay, see ya. Like, we saw them once and they were like, she's good.
Yeah.
And then they were seeing her every couple of months to do assessments on her up at the hospital. Like, you know, just milestone,
the growth and development clinic.
Yeah. Yep. So she was going up to there, and then we were seeing peds as well, just to make sure like nothing else came about, because they didn't know why this happened. They said, we don't know long term what's like.
Yep.
What's going to happen?
Yeah. But so far she's normal. She does have like ab separation, because her abs never came together. Like so she still has ab separation, even though like, but it's slowly getting better. Yeah. Her belly's not really big anymore, but it's a little bit. But she has her chest concave.
Is like concave.
Yeah. But they said that might just
Lots
be
normal babies
just
have
like,
that, you know.
that might just be her as well. So like all these other things they're like, we don't think it's correlated. It's just, but like the abs and the stomach were definitely from like all the fluid. She still has little scars, like, but like they're just like.
How old is she now?
She is 2.5. She'll be 3 in June. Yeah. And she is just such a weapon. Yeah. She is a weapon. She's such sass. Like, I honestly think, like, I was like, I know she would never remember it or anything, but like,
you do.
Yeah. And she's got a fighting spirit. And, you know, during those moments where you like count to 10, I just go, remember the NICU, remember how far we like but she's a weapon now. You wouldn't even like know how sick she was.
I think every NICU baby's a fighter. Hey,
every
like
so
all of them just have that spirit about them, like that strength.
And you just like I know you would not remember anything, but like there had to be something helping you like get through this that just came from within you. And like every other NICU baby I've met, like kid as well, like
they're fighters.
They're weapons.
They're built different, aren't they? Yeah.
They're a different kind. That stubbornness, that resilience, like they're going to do wonders in the world. But we're really lucky that like our story ended we're like still going, but it's very positive. Like our NICU stay ended positively, even though there were so many unknowns. We're very lucky that it went the way it did.
Absolutely. And now when she goes to kindy, can you notice there's any difference, or like does she just seem like a normal kid?
Yeah, she's just small, but then she's in correct proportions. So peds are like, she's proportionate. She's just little. She's just littler, but she makes up for it in personality.
She's the boss.
But like you would not be able to pick
that she was sick.
She's got like, middle child syndrome.
Yeah, I think so. Honestly, she's
actually, and seeing as you had another kid after.
Yeah.
Was it scary all over again?
Yeah, so that was a scary, and I had to have a bit more closer monitoring because they were like, okay, well, this stuff happened before. So we had 6 weeks, we had the 13-week scan, and we had the 20-week scan, but everything was.
Oh, that's so good.
Were you like really nervous between the 13-week and 20-week? Because like that's like almost 2 months.
Yeah,
that's a long time to just be waiting.
I'd been through that many scans that I knew what to look for. Like I knew by now what we were, and then when we saw Bailey at 20 weeks, there was no black. There was nothing. Yeah. There was nothing, and I was just like
relieved.
As soon as I saw it, I was just like, oh,
thank God,
thank you. Like, and then. The sonographer was like, what? I was like, okay, well.
Let me get you started.
She was like, I've never even seen that before. And I was like, yes, but you're not seeing it now, so that's good.
And you never will because we're not doing it today.
Yes, like so it was nice having a low, like just a nice cruisy pregnancy again because I was so scared.
Yeah, you would be.
Because I was like, I can't go through that again.
So how old was Emily before you decided to start trying again for your
About
third?
1.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we were always kind of like, let's just smash them out.
Yeah.
Close in age is going to be
Yeah.
hectic.
And you'd thought 3 was kind of your number?
Yeah, we're still like,
On edge, yeah.
we don't think we're done yet, but you know, it's not like a pressing.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah,
Like,
just see how it goes. Yeah.
But like there's always that. I don't like going into hospitals now.
Yeah.
Even though like I had such a good experience with the nurses and the doctors, like I can't fault anyone walking through those doors, like even to like visit someone or even taking like Amalee to peds or like.
And like the alarms
Mm.
all sound the same.
Yes.
They're very triggering, I think. Yeah.
And like I have to force myself through the door.
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty good at like hiding it, but like I can't. I don't.
What's going
like it.
through your mind is completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my body like has
tension.
you know like that like like whenever I like I just
you know how you said you didn't tell anyone that you were discharging?
Yeah.
What was the first thing you did when you
so
left?
we got her home and then we told my mum Mima because she was watching Hadley.
Yeah.
We're like, look, can you keep Hadley for a little bit longer?
Yeah.
We're bringing. And she was just like,
Oh
my god, like okay.
Yeah. So she gets like
So
a
she was
tizzy.
at our so she was at our house with Hadley because I was like, can you just get the baby cot like just made up?
Yeah.
She's like, okay. And I was like, just some baby clothes washed as well because it was a bit slack on those as well.
Add that in there.
Yeah, just add that. And then so we came home and like the video of Hadley and Amalee meeting for the first time was just so sweet.
Oh.
Like it melts my heart.
You'll have
every
to
time.
send it to us.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
Yes, and it's like oh baby, like, and she's just like, and she gives her a little kiss, and then I got another video of Jack's parents. We told them, hey, like, do you want to come on over, like, just on your way home from work, like.
Do you think they were sus on you at all?
No, because we usually do that. And
you're in the NICU too.
Yeah, and then Beth, my sister-in-law, I said to her, like, do it. So she came first, and she was like, oh my god, like. There's my niece. Like. So she was so happy for us, but then she was kind of like, oh yeah, like I'm over too, like come on over. And they were like, all right. They walked in and I'm holding Amalee, but they did not notice because they went straight to Hadley because Hadley was eating in the high chair. And they were like, oh hey Hadley. And then all of a sudden they just like looked at me and like, oh my god, like, and then just like tears of like joy
because this was all of their first time, meeting
because like
her.
it was so no one else could go up
visitors,
to
no siblings,
no,
nothing.
like
so
oh really?
Yeah, no one could come up except me and Jack. So and I remember there was one point Jack and I were both sick. We couldn't get up there at all and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Amalee, you're in good hands.
And this is before our camera time as well.
Yeah.
So like now we've got the Angel Eye camera system, which is basically just like a camera, like monitor,
like a baby cam.
Yeah,
oh my
like
gosh.
a baby cam. Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's so
So
nice.
you can just like log into your baby. And that is such a good idea.
Yeah.
It's so good.
How long's that been there for?
Maybe like 2 years?
Almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
so it must have happened like just after.
Yeah. It's no audio or anything. It's
just like a
video.
visual. But like that's so good.
Yeah, and like we turn it off like when we're doing cares and stuff. But otherwise it's like on.
Yeah.
Game changer.
Yeah.
Parents love it.
Oh
absolutely
yeah,
love
because
it.
like for those times you can't get up because you just you
Mhm.
want to spend.
You
all
have
your,
a life outside of the
yeah.
NICU as well. You have another
And,
kid
like,
to raise.
Also the guilt, like I always felt guilty making like you guys do care, like my cares. Because I'd be like, I'm so sorry I can't get up there, and like you'd be like, no dramas, but I'm like, that's my baby. I should
To be honest, I love when I can do the cares and change a nappy and have a little cuddle and
like
feed
this-
the bottle. I love that.
I get to do all the fun stuff, not the procedures and the saving a baby, like. But like, there's that guilt because you're like, I should be doing that. Like, it's my baby.
Of course.
Like, so I know you guys don't mind it, but I always felt like really bad.
We love it.
Yeah.
We honestly love it.
Oh, that's
Like we love it when you're there, but we also love it.
Yeah,
like, when
inside
we get to do it
too.
too.
Like I'm always like, I can go get the cutest sheets
Yeah.
and I can set the baby up.
That
And
was
when a mum comes in, I'm like,
surprise.
You know how nice that was though,
Yeah.
because all the matching sheets and like the making sure, like it was just like those little details that were like
Yeah.
so sweet and,
And
just
like positioning them nice and making them look pretty.
And
Yeah.
like just knowing that like your baby is cared for is like exactly like the amount of care, even though you guys have other babies to look after too, and there's a lot going on, and you guys are probably dead tired. Like you look after people's kids so well when they're so vulnerable. Like both sides are so vulnerable. Like yeah, words can't describe how amazing NICU nurses are. Honestly,
it's just our pleasure.
Yeah.
It's what we are so passionate about. We just love our
best
jobs.
job in the world.
It is.
yeah, you guys are just honestly like praise cannot be said enough. Like for you guys, honestly, can not be thankful enough.
You're too kind.
No,
So
honestly,
nice.
like, yeah, thank God for you guys every day because it would have made.
But also, like,
yeah.
thanks to you as well. You
Yes.
know how you said you come in and you chat to the nurses.
Yeah,
That makes a difference in our work day too.
Absolutely.
You know, it feels
Yeah.
like we can sit down and talk to our friend. You know,
yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, it would be heavy for you guys having to deal with like the highs and the lowest of lows, like, and so if you're having a bad shift, but at least you can talk to the parents and like treat it kind of like a normal day.
Yeah, absolutely. Like
Yeah.
it brightens our day. Like to even just know what you guys are doing outside of
Yeah.
NICU
Yeah,
and like
well,
what's
like,
going on. And yeah,
Some of them even like got like little gifts for Hadley, like, and were asking about her, and I was like,
Sweet.
that's so sweet. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you know, my this child doesn't want, but like you care about the whole
Yeah.
family, and like you guys like knew who everyone was, like even though they couldn't, like it was really
And I think at that time, because like we were so used to the siblings coming in, we'd get them to like do colouring in drawings and stuff for like like you didn't get to have that, and Hadley didn't get to come in. So like, you know, we do try to like make up for that aspect as well of
because
like
that's a COVID was a really weird
Yeah.
period. Like
yeah.
it was so strange. Like, and yeah, looking back now, it's like Hadley had no idea she had a sister.
Yeah.
Like, and then all of a sudden there was this baby, and she was just
Like,
like, wow.
crazy.
At least sort of like she didn't. I guess she was only young. She wouldn't have known, but she didn't see that. She didn't see any. She has no idea about the hospital.
Yeah, and so now she looks at like the photos. I show them photos, and Amalee and Hadley are like, "Who's that?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "That's you, Amalee." She's just like, "Oh, why am I sick?"
Yeah.
It's like you were born sick. She's like, "Oh, bye, okay now." But yeah, you are okay now.
Aw.
She's like, "I don't have to go to the doctors." I was like, "No, you don't, babe. Like you're fine. You're
Oh,
fine."
that's so good.
But yeah, but it was a weirdly like good, but really like not good experience. Like, you know, it's like that, like
the best of a bad experience.
Yeah, exactly. We had the best outcome from that situation, and we're so lucky.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, in that sort of first year when you took her home, did she ever get sick? Did she ever get like a peds admission or like a cold or a virus or anything?
So lucky.
We were so lucky, and I was waiting for it, but Hadley never went to daycare, and we kind of at that stage too were like, let's not do it because like Amalee's lungs a little like she's.
You got to protect your family. Yeah.
And I think too that's maybe one of the blessings that came from COVID. You know, there was nobody around.
It was, and like hand hygiene and
social
you know,
distancing
was such a big thing. Like honestly, I don't think she really got a massive like major cold that I was like, oh, she's like sick until after she was 1.
Yeah, that's so good.
That's so good. Like it gave her so much time to get stronger and bigger and
like,
healthier.
Yeah. And like, yeah, we were very lucky in that aspect, and everyone was very like mindful of like being around Amalee, like hand hygiene.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
Not seeing her
because
when
it's
she's
awkward,
sick,
you know, when you have a baby and you're like,
then you wash your
are you
hands.
going to wash your hands?
Yeah,
Are you sick?
like you don't
are you
want to be that person.
Yeah.
Like you also want to. You're like, I have to be that person, but it's also just like,
and like you see,
it's common sense. Don't come near my baby when you're sick. Like.
Or like they come over and like they sneeze and you're like, can you just
yeah,
wash your hands?
Yeah.
What was that?
It's like, was that dust or is that an infection?
Yeah.
I'd actually prefer you just leave in general.
Actually, there's COVID tests at the door. Can you just place one in and we'll just wait for that to develop? Thank you.
Wait out the front for 15 minutes and I'll get back to you.
We'll see if you're allowed in. Masks and as well, thank you.
Yeah.
But I think that like, it really helped.
Yeah.
We were very lucky.
Yeah. But like what a hard time just in general during COVID, let alone being in hospital, like because it was all just such a weird time and so many rules in the hospital,
and we had to like wear masks all the time. So like,
it's the worst. Hey,
and like I was like, Emily's only ever seen me with a bloody mask on. I'll take it off, and she'll be like, "What is this?"
Who are you?
But and by the end of it, like when she was off CPAP and stuff, like when I'd be in there, the nurses would be like, "Take your mask off."
Yeah,
like,
look after your baby.
Yeah,
like,
just you're like
be a mum.
Yeah, I remember like I was giving her a bath once, and the mask was just annoying me. One of them just came over, like took it off. She's like, "You don't need to do that in here." I was like, "Are you sure?" She's like, "You're fine. Like, this is your baby." Like, like, "Oh, thank you."
Yeah,
but it is a weird time. Just but it was good because it kept everyone a bit healthier, I think. So
and then I had another follow-up question. Sorry.
I told you she's full of the question.
With your so with your feeding, was she just on the formula the whole time, or was there a stage where you're able to go back to your breast milk?
No, so like she was on the TPN and Monogen, and then we tried that breast milk, and then they were like, "Oh no, we're going to go back on the Monogen," but I didn't want to keep like pump. I was like, I didn't enjoy it. Like, I was like,
and if she's not going to drink it, what's the point?
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to keep doing this, and so I told them, and like, they were like, "Oh, okay, no dramas." Like, and so she stopped the Monogen, and we just went on to carry care. And then that was fun.
Yeah,
it was
so good.
Yeah, she was fun, and it was like good because she was littler, like I knew exactly how much she was eating.
Yeah.
I was like,
so Niku, aren't you?
Yeah, I was like, yep, she had this many meals at this time. Like she's had this many bowel movements, this wet nappies.
Yeah. It's like every mum, every Niku mum's like this many meals,
and it's then pretty and then like it like the bowel movements. I know what color.
You're all over it.
So that was really, but we just kept her on formula because it was easy and she was fine on it. So
no, that's good. That's excellent. I just because I wasn't sure whether like you trialed to go back on or not.
Other than that, although like I joined this Facebook page, it was like congenial cauliflower but all over the world, and like there's only like 400 people on it, like, and a lot of them like in America, but like with associated with other syndromes, like genetic disorders, and so some of them like their kids were on it for a year you know, and on like so there's a lot more that could have gone wrong with so we're thankful like seeing everyone else's stories that had the same kind of thing, like a lot of is hectic. And then also like being in America, like
it's completely different.
Their healthcare is a lot different to ours. So
and like how expensive that would have been. Like we're so lucky in Australia that it's
to come out with no
care
bill.
Of.
Yeah. There was one family on there that was saying like our bill is over $1 million now. In treatment, and their kid had been in NICU for 6 months, like because there just wasn't it wasn't stopping reaccumulating. So
wow.
So
you don't realize how lucky you are until you hear that.
Until you hear other stories and you're like, wow, like we got off very well.
You're like, I got no bill. My baby had sheets,
food, we
clothes,
went home,
everything provided.
And like the best of care, like and even though you know they hadn't really seen it before, we didn't have to like uproot our lives and go down to Brisbane. Like they made it work. And
even you know the antenatal appointments, I couldn't imagine how much it would cost in America to get your baby
weekly
operated on inside your belly.
No, that I don't even want to think about that cost. Like even I thought it was going to cost something because you know I was like, well, obviously this is like a. They were like, no.
like a specialized thing.
And they were like, no, you're not paying for anything.
You'll see you later.
That's amazing.
Dr. Rome was very adamant. She's like, you are not paying for anything. No scans, no anything. I was like, oh, thank you.
She's amazing.
She's great. She's honestly like, she's just an angel in disguise.
Hats off to Cecilia.
Yes.
Shout out.
She's amazing. And Dr. Watson, like the whole team, amazing. And they work so hard. Every Tuesday being at high risk clinics, just seeing the amount of people they have to see.
Yeah.
And like, we're lucky that we have that here. Like, we're lucky. So lucky.
Absolutely, we are. Yeah. Well, they make what our hospital is capable of. Like, if they weren't here, we wouldn't be able to look after mums. And therefore babies.
Babies,
they give us a heads up to be like, okay. got this coming, all this coming.
So you got, like it's.
Yeah, because without them here, they have to be managed in Brisbane.
Yeah.
So then like our NICU then becomes like less because
Yeah.
a lot of them are born in Brisbane. So without them at the hospital, like
You wouldn't,
our unit becomes even smaller, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and the outcome for a lot of families, I think, would be a lot different. Having to like
travel
and the expense like that is like so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's just been so great to talk to you and to hear all about this journey.
Yeah.
Like it's so unique
It's nice
and
to be
rare
able to.
and
Nice to say it out loud, if that makes sense. Like you tell your family, but like it's nice to like just get it all out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like you'll look back on this and like have it as like a little documentary about it, and then maybe you'll be able to show Emily when she's
this
older.
Is what was,
yeah, I think that's really special.
Yeah. No,
to be able to write like all her school assignments and stuff on it.
Yeah. She'd be like, well, in case you guys didn't know, I bought my shunts to show and tell. These were in me when I was a baby.
Have them.
In a little yellow pot.
Yeah, they're in a little container.
Yeah.
Wow.
Love that.
Yeah, it's so funny. But no, thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
it's been
that's
great.
Okay. Yeah, it's been wonderful to have you. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thanks for coming.